Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning. I'm not really sure when you're viewing this, but I know one thing for sure. You are the parent and or guardian of some child that's in Mr. Jolly's math class. I'm Mr. Jolly. See, it says that right here. I go by he, him pronouns. I thought since this is sort of an unusual back to school night that I would tell you guys a little bit about myself. Usually when I'm teaching in the classroom, I have students write me a letter on the first day of class. That's called their mathography. The mathography is a history of students' relationship to mathematics, what courses they took, how they felt about it, what they were successful with, what they were maybe not successful with. I thought I would tell you guys about my personal mathography, because I know when I was in school, when I saw a math teacher, I thought for sure that that math teacher loves math, has been great at math their entire life, and that's always the way it's been, which is certainly not the case with me. One of my first math memories was, I think, 8th grade, which is weird. I didn't really remember math before that. But 8th grade, I was in Algebra 1, and I remember thinking that that was sort of ahead of the curve, that not every student was in Algebra 1. But apparently I didn't do so hot in Algebra 1. My teacher called me a social butterfly, which meant that I think I was talking to people a lot, not really doing my work. So I got a C in that class, and my middle school teacher said you have to have an A or a B to move on to geometry your freshman year. So I had to repeat Algebra 1 my freshman year. I didn't really care about math that much in high school. I didn't do any homework. I kind of took notes. I kind of paid attention, and I kind of tried on tests. I think I was pulling C's and B's on tests back then. Don't really remember Algebra 1 my freshman year that much. Sophomore year, I took geometry, still doing my thing of like not doing homework, not asking the teacher questions, and just kind of trying on tests. And I think I got a B or a C in that course as well. Literally one of the only things I remember from that course is that the teacher was kind of a wacky guy, and he taught in this classroom without windows. And in the middle of a test one time, he like walked over to the light switch, and when he was looking at his watch, and he just turned off the lights. So we were sitting there in pitch black taking a test, and everybody was just silent, like, what is happening right now? And then he turned the lights back on, and he was like, that's it, my watch doesn't glow, I'm taking it back. And that's really the only thing I remember from geometry. Junior year, I took Algebra II with a man named Mr. Clark. This is when things really turned around for me, because I was still doing my usual thing of like not doing homework, just kind of trying, getting C's and B's. And then Mr. Clark was actually kind of upset with me. Like he pulled me into the hall one day and was like, do you see all these other kids that are struggling with Algebra 2 and you're just like barely trying and getting like fine grades, but you could be getting A's if you were putting in any effort at all. So I started trying, and lo and behold, math became way more interesting when I like put energy and thought into it. Started doing my homework problems, started getting way better grades on tests, and yeah, it became fun. I loved it. I used to eat lunch in Mr. Clark's room, and sometimes students would come to him with questions, and he started to get overwhelmed with too many questions. He would like push students off onto me. He'd be like, go ask that guy, he knows about Algebra 2. I didn't realize till way later that this was a really sneaky trick of getting me to talk about mathematics. Helped it solidify that knowledge so much more. Like like when you teach it to somebody else, you learn it 100% more. It's an actual fact, actual statistic. So after Algebra 2, I took like pre-calc my senior year, did great. Kind of put me on this path to being a math major in college. I went to Central Oregon Community College and also University of Oregon. Got my Bachelor's of Science in Mathematics. Took great classes, loved it. Although during my path at U of O, I loved all my classes until I got to this class called Abstract Algebra. To this day, it's pretty hard for me to tell you exactly what abstract algebra is even about, because this was the first time in my life that I was putting lots of energy into a class and not being successful. All of it was going over my head. I wasn't in study groups with other students. I was trying to tackle it all on my own, and it just was not clicking. I made the mistake of the first semester of that class not reaching out to anyone and just thinking I could make it better by the end of the semester, just keep trying and my grade would improve. But it didn't. I got a very bad grade in abstract algebra. And in fact, the teacher wanted me to drop the course entirely because he thought that I didn't have the right skills to be successful in that class. But I begged him to let me stay in. I changed my habits. I formed study groups with other people in that class. I started going to his office hours on a weekly basis. And then my grade in second semester of abstract algebra got way better. It was still a struggle for me, for sure. It's a tough course, or it was for me. You know, I got like a B or something after that. But yeah, it was the first time in my life that I realized you really have to reach out when you're struggling. Since that time, I've worked at a whole slew of high schools around the Beaverton School District and in Oakland, California for a little bit. I still love mathematics, but I don't know if it's my main passion these days. I would say that after 10 years of working in the Beaverton School District, that education is definitely my biggest thing. I like forming connections with students. I like helping people be successful with math that have maybe never been successful with it before, although, you know, I know it's a challenging subject, but I don't think it has to be painful. I know it can be uncomfortable, but I think we can, you know, have fun in the virtual classroom and get some things done. The way class is working is that it's all via Zoom. A lot of it is sort of homework participation and online quizzes and tests. I'll leave a lot of that kind of grading stuff to my syllabus and my Canvas if you want to poke through there. But please fire off an email to me if you have any specific questions. Yeah, thank you. Nice to meet you guys. Any questions? I don't see any questions. Okay, bye.